Another issue in the area of severance damage consideration and the relationship to access is the changing of access and whether or not the new access that the property owner will have after the acquisition is still reasonable. We have talked about the situation where you lose access entirely, but now we're looking at a situation where the access is still there, but it is the access to the main road has been more removed, such that it's more difficult to get to the main road. The impact here can oftentimes be determined by understanding that the property may have a loss or a change in what's called the highest and best use. And I think an example here is probably the easiest way to explain that. If you have a property in the beginning that's it's a vacant piece of land, but it's right at the end of a exit ramp off of a freeway, right on an intersection of a road, and has an immediate frontage access right onto the road and then right onto the highway. This type of a property is extremely desirable for what we call a impulse commercial property, such as a convenience store, fast food restaurant. These are properties that will pay a very high price for the land because of the desirability of that kind of a location, because people can see the property well and they can quickly and easily get to it. If a road project comes along, takes part of that property, and now instead of having the access to the front on that road that goes right onto the main freeway, instead the access has now been moved to the rear. It's put onto a frontage road that has to circulate around maybe a quarter of a mile, maybe a half mile. I've even seen where you've had to go even a mile or more to get back to the main road, such that now when people come down to the bottom of the ramp, they can see the property, but they can no longer figure out how to get to it. So that property now, instead of being a impulse commercial property with highest and best use for those types of businesses, it is now going to have a lower or less valuable highest and best use for what we call destination commercial, which would be significantly lower in value and therefore would increase the severance damages to this parcel. So this is a second way that change in access will cause severance damages to a parcel. It's not only due to a loss of access completely, but just by having the remaining access be more circuitous or more difficult to identify in terms of being able to get back to the remainder parcel that is left.